Hi. I'm glad you're here. I appreciate everybody that watches. That being said, we are live. Unless you're watching the recorded version, then you watched A Glimpse of Time. TK Smallpour, Daniel Nottingham, Dennis Smith, TJ, Mike Mentor, Daniel Adami. I appreciate you appreciating me, says TK. Anthony Blackbeard, Another Feed is Good, CPAP, Sunchaser, McGee Films, Work Fast, Sleep Faster, The Rob Cobb, Nothing Witty. Surprised to see you in here this morning. Sean Price, Larry Fisher. Yeah. Past my drop lot spot. I am in Marietta right now because it's foggy. Can't stop thinking about my clutch lately. TK, you need to get underneath that truck and take a look, because if it looks fried, you better save up about $4 grand. Going to Prime soon. Any suggestions? Rob Cobb, make sure you've got a good trainer, and hopefully they're just not going to be a money, I'm just doing it for money. Hopefully they actually care about how well you do. Are you going as a new CDL holder, or are you just switching companies? That would be my question. James, need info on this 2290 page. Sean Price, I might be able to help you. Larry Fisher, I think I already said hey to you. If not, I apologize. But hey to you. Yeah, James isn't working. Nobody's working. I'm the only one who's working. Here's what it looks like. Here's what it looks like. It's foggy. Would doing teams is a good idea, Rob Cobb? It depends. If they, the only way I would be a team driver is if it was with my wife and there's like maybe 2 friends that I'm close to that I would team with. But even then, I became a truck driver because I like being alone as far as like working. Now, I enjoy being home, don't get me wrong, but as far as in the truck itself, I don't like other people around. So Anthony T, what's up? Jay Winger, working here, driving across Ohio right now on 80, going to Monroe, Wisconsin. Can I get a sleet snow going on? Mrs. Jones is working. Glad to see that. Brian Smithberg is working. It is Sunday. This is a lot of truck drivers Monday morning. Snowing in Shippensburg, says Dennis Smith. I forgot why I became a truck driver, says TK. Well, because you wanted to drive large vehicles and hopefully get paid for it. Super Bowl Sunday, says Big Eddie. Other James Best, Snorler, I think I got all the plate stuff done. Just need to get courthouse to register my name. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Talked to my wife yesterday, and my plate that was supposed to be in the mail was not there. So hopefully Monday it'll be there. And the state was supposed to send me a temp tag. They never did that either. So I hope there's not some kind of snag. Pale Rider says he is not working, just trucking. Daniel Adami, I'm going to be here in Marietta for a minute. Why am I taking my time? Well, number 1, it's foggy, but the fog's starting to lift. Number 2, my load doesn't pick up till 3. Now, it's a drop and hook, but yesterday, the ready time was 3 o'clock, and I got there like right at 3:30, and it just barely got the green light at the door. So I think they're a little bit behind. So, unless they changed the pickup time on here, but it's an open driving hook. It's not supposed to be as heavy as the last load. And if I get back to where I spent the night last night, I'll be happy. Snowing like crazy in Verona, Virginia. TJ White, not blue. Stretch out Trucking Morrison and make that blue. Oh, we're still talking about... don't you guys have emails or something you can communicate? I'm in no hurry to do anything. TJ, my week doesn't start till tomorrow evening and finish out Thursday afternoon. Get paid to sit around on your butt and driving around. Big Yeti, I think I already said hey to you. It is Super Bowl Sunday. Hopefully I'll be able to watch the game from my... We only communicate on live feeds. Yeah, James Best. So... Food Mooch. Look at you. Is Food Mooch working today? I had to pause my own video. It was distracted me. Myself is distracting. You're at home. Well, hopefully you got some food at home. I like Super Bowl Sunday. You know why? Because it creates a lot of revenue for me. You want Doritos now? Oh, there's a Frito-Lay pickup or a van over here at the Dollar General across the street. So today's coffee review is morning coffee review, guys. Coffee review. McDonald's coffee used to be really, really good when they first came out, but then they changed the formula, probably found a cheaper way to make it, and it's not as good. It's still better than some, but not as good as it used to be, and not as good as it could be. Usually McDonald's coffee, I gotta put cream and sugar in it. But this time I didn't. Pale Rider TV did a mini taco review this morning. I is at work taking 45,000 pounds up to New York. That sounds like a very expensive fuel and toll trip there, Mr. Smith. Atlanta's winning the Super Bowl. Oh wait, maybe next year. Yep. I watch Super Bowl for the multi-million-dollar commercials. I don't drink coffee, never have. Am I a real truck driver? TK, I've already determined how much I'm not a real truck driver, so you're probably right behind me. As long as you got the coffee thermos, you're good, I think. You're gonna make huge burritos today, says Big Yeti. Not as big as the one that you ate on your video, on your channel. Daniel Dami is in Moscow. Are you spying on the Russians for us, Daniel? You're just a seat filler, Food Mooch. I hear you. Bigger? Well, it's not a burrito at that point. The one you ate was not even a burrito. It's just a bunch of crap, like, pretended to be a burrito. Not crap, I guess that's a harsh word, but stuff. Stuff. What, you can't spy on the Russians from Moscow, Texas, Daniel? Shows what kind of patriot you are. Ask Pale Rider his thoughts on people who use cream and sugar. Okay, Pale Rider, what do you think of people that use cream and sugar? Daniel Nottingham says, I want a burrito. If you go to Big Yeti's channel, he did this, I guess there's like the Amarillo You know the Amarillo Steakhouse, like, food challenge? There's like a burrito version of that somewhere. And that's what he did. Someone just went live. Oh, no, that was Twitter. No, I just got the notification that Jeff went live an hour and a half ago. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. I'm in a hurricane. It's crazy here. Don't be in a hurricane. No, Food Mooch, we're not going to trigger Pale Rider with that statement. Love it for the first cup, but straight black for the 2 or 5 cup. Food trucks, next topic. What about food trucks, Agent Orange? Cream and sugar users are women. There ain't no cream and sugar in my coffee, it's black, see? I'm still in bed, you're making me feel lazy. No, Big Billy, you're making yourself feel lazy. Can't blame me for anything. Hurricane, Utah, clear skies, mid-40s, high 70 degrees. It's a nice way to be. Cream and sugar ruins coffee. Women use French vanilla, men use hazelnut, says CPAP. Nah, Big Billy's not lazy. He still has his Schneider Finance truck, so he knows how to work. He knows how to work. There's some good ones out there, better than most crap you can get at the truck stops. Agent Orange, I will agree with you. Burritos from a food truck, like in the South, that's where it's at. RVT Keto Coffee. Actually, I've mixed the McDonald's coffee with like that much Valero coffee. It was 60 degrees when I was in Missouri on Wednesday, now cold in Chicago, says Food Mooch. Black coffee with Amarillo, says work fast, sleep faster. I've had coffee from Amarillo, Texas. I think it was at the Flying J, but it wasn't anything special. Isn't keto coffee just a pat of butter in it? Keto coffee does not have sugar or creamer in it. And you need grass-fed butter and I think coconut oil or something. I don't know. Do you have transfer copy of 2290? Just email or mailed as well. Sean Price, if you have a Schneider Finance truck and you just started like what, a couple of months ago, you probably don't even, well, you'll have to get that document from Schneider, unless you paid it yourself. If you paid it yourself through the IRS, then you should have all that. Now that I'm not feeling it, Pilots or Flying J, I'm going to need to get a coffee machine in my truck with Pilot Coffee. Already got my hazelnut creamers ready. Why would you go out of your way to pay to make Pilot Coffee if you have a coffee maker? I mean, it's bad enough, you know, everybody, I don't know why everybody raves about Pilot Coffee. I mean, it's strong, I'll give it that. Sometimes it comes out like motor oil. And a lot of times that's because the person who made it forgot to, like, didn't do the coffee grounds right. But usually I gotta water down the Pilot Coffee. Nothing compares to my Cafe Ultra, guys. Nothing. Smallport, it's raining in Corbin. I'm so ready to leave this place tomorrow. Coconut oil, not coconut butter. You know, guys, you know how I've lost like 20 pounds in the last month? I think a lot of that's because I stopped having cream and sugar in my coffee. Frank Rowe Pro says, skip all the coffee and go straight for the red line and chase it with a Red Bull. No, you can't do that, Frank, because here's what happens. You get near heart attack level and you do crazy live feeds. I've seen it done. So we don't want to go there. We don't want to do that. We got too many people already going crazy on YouTube videos. I paid it, but I bought my own and transferring it to new truck. Okay. Oh yeah. I forgot. You're buying you're buying the ProStar. So yeah. Okay. Yeah, Pale Rider. You tell him. Asian My Show. What's up? Happy Sunday to you, sir. Pilot coffee makes me drowsy, says Big Billy. That new Pilot coffee with the beans on it. Drink a cup. Yeah. Daniel Nottingham, they have one of those machines in Caddo Valley, Arkansas. Man, that is good coffee. I'll say that, man. It's like it's kind of like a Keurig, I bet. You know, I wonder if the beans are up there just for show, but yeah, it definitely is fresher than the stuff you get from the coffee pot. I like that coffee. I did a vlog with my old camera on that, and I ended up watching the footage and scrapping it. CPAP likes the house blend. Yeah, it's alright. Thank you, Asian My Show. Sugar is a mofo. I agree, Agent Orange. Gray Biggs in the house. How's the trailer situation? TK, I did the phone equivalent to walking out of the room, and then I got an email late Friday afternoon saying, hey, let's try this and this. And so I'll have a conversation with the guy Monday morning, and we'll go from there. So all is not lost. And at this point, if I don't get a trailer, I'm ready to rent, because it's just time. It's to make some money. Big Yeti's gonna try a big crazy live feed. Well, let me know when you do, and I'll get off of here, Big Yeti, because I've got really nothing to say. I stopped putting sugar in because creamer already has sugar. Pretty soon I will stop the creamer also, one thing at a time. Have you tried Vietnamese iced coffee? It's like crack. No, Asian My Show. There are a few Vietnamese places where I live, but now that you say that, I'm gonna have to try one of those places and have coffee. Now, Jamaican coffee is pretty dang good. We use Don Francisco coffee, says TJ. No, they're really ground. The manager showed me the grounds fall out of the bottom. Oh, okay. Cool, McGee Films. Truck paper for trailer. Food Mooch. It's kind of overwhelming, man. I went on the online version. I have, well, it's buried now. I threw it away, but I have a truck paper, and all the new stuff's like call for price. And then the used stuff has been posted like, I don't know, a month ago, so it's not even accurate. So I go to the online site, and it's kind of the same way. So, Daniel Nottingham, extra trailer. Yeah, the only problem is the carrier has to set that up. Single driver like myself cannot. Snorlord, are you like me and collect load straps like they're Pokemon? I try to use disposable straps from customers on trailers I'm dropping. I do have a slight collection. When I was at Landstar, I had to buy a whole bunch because I had some four-wheeler loads. You know, those off-road vehicles, and you had to have straps. And here at Schneider, they supply us with those. And so every time I pick up a drop trailer that has them, you know, I'll put them in the side box or whatever. But I remember all the straps I had at Landstar I sold to a friend of mine for like $100. He got a good deal, and I needed the money. I usually have one Yeti cup of coffee, chase it with Java Monster, and alternate between Mountain Dew and water throughout the day. You're gonna die of a heart attack, Anthony. What's it cost to rent a van per month? James Best quoted me because he was looking at that too. I think Pensie's got them for like $130 a week plus 3 cents a mile. So you're looking at, if you're running 2,000 miles a week, it's about $180 a week. So, you know, it's about the price of buying a new trailer. Excuse me. You can buy just one of those orange trailers cheap. They come complete with battle scars. No, thank you. I just subscribed, Big Yeti. Anyone else with the YouTube channel I would like to support? Asian My Show. There's several people on here. I wish truck paper would require prices. Call for prices. Annoyances, TK. I agree. The thing with truck paper is if it's a used trailer, you're going to want to go physically down and go look at it. So if I find a good price on a used trailer, say in, you know, Florida or Dallas, I have to take a load down to Dallas just to look at it. And then that kind of delays the process. Whereas a new one, yeah, you're going to inspect it before you sign the paperwork, but new is new. So also, financing is a lot easier for new trailers over used trailers. So the truck paper on all the new stuff, it's all called for price. So it comes to a matter of what dealership I want to use, what financing company I want to use, and where I want to pick up the trailer. So it can give you a good heads up on a lot of good deals, but you know, I found my truck through a dealer. You know, truck paper is a good resource, but it can be very overwhelming. Call for price. It can't hurt. If you don't like price, say buy, hang up. Right, Fubuchi. And what it amounts to is that there's the pricing's about the same for a new trailer, no matter what. Just depends on how many bells and whistles they could sell you on the phone. I thought about getting something as fancy as Big Yeti, but you know, might as well just get something practical for now. So, as long as it's solid, I really don't care. But yeah, it's just, you know, in the call for price on new 2019 trailers, you're gonna want to pick the dealership closest to you, or the dealership that can get one in as quick as possible. A lot of these trailers are posted; they don't even have them in stock. You know, so you got to find the one that's got them in stock. So you got to sort through all the dealers that either have them in stock or say that they will be in stock. And so I hate salespeople. You know, I hate the process of buying equipment. And it's just, there's so many out there trying to make a buck off you. It's just a matter of convenience at this point. So Benjamin Duke, call PD Trailer Company in Florence, South Carolina. That's a good tip. Got you, Daniel, and CPAP. So what's the plan, Snorri? You going back to Landstar? Big Yeti? How dare you say such a thing? No, I'm not going back to Landstar. Metro in Atlanta, Georgia, $550 a month. Oh yeah, Metro. I forgot about them. That renting's a last resort. James Best says call for prices equals no call. Well, the reason why they do that is because if 20 dealers advertise the same, like say Wabash Duraplate trailer, but one's lower than the other, then everybody's going to go to that one that's lower than everybody else. So So you end up with the competition of undercutting, and the dealerships still want to get into that. So they want you to call so you can develop a conversation, and then they can like kind of set it up and get your credit app while you're on the phone. Whereas if you got 20 dealerships selling the same trailer and one's priced over the other, you're going to go with the cheapest one. And then so it kind of creates less competition in a way. Every month on average, after everything, $1,200 a month was the cost through Metro Trailers, says TJ. It was not cheap. Nah, you're right. Reliable trailer got rental for around $300, but they ain't the best, but workable. When you look in your mirrors and see a non-orange trailer, that's going to mess with your mind for a while, says Just Truckin'. You are correct. I pay $623 a month for a brand new utility owner-op spec. Yeah, that's definitely cheaper than renting, Big Eddie. Actually, that's cheaper than... That's a pretty good price. I forgot, Big Eddie, what was the total price on that trailer you paid? Tell the Asian show how you were almost a Discovery Channel reality TV show personality. I haven't told that story in a while. Agent Orange, that's funny. Are you wearing new or used, and are you wanting new or used, and what's your preference? I had a guy I used to D&D with that worked for utility. I can see if he still works there and what they have. It's not, Anthony, I appreciate that. It's not a matter of finding a trailer. It's a matter of just settling on the one that I want for the price that I want. Heath Close says, hey Snowler, every time I pass Knob Noster, Missouri, I think to myself, Knob Noster sounds like an opening act for Guar. That's pretty good. Adam Gallagher, what's up? 33,000. Man. Big Yeti. I might just go where Big Yeti went, because he's got a nice trailer. Because I'm looking at like plain Jane dry vans for that much. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. New is great, 5-year warranty. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go new. The only reason why I was looking at the used was the dealership there in Michigan had them at a decent price. They're only 5 years old, but now that I think about it, maybe new is the way to go. Now there was this really nice black one that had all the bells and owner-op specs, man. Stainless steel front and back, man. That was a nice trailer. Right on, Benjamin Duke. Thank you, I appreciate that. Wabash HD is the best trailers. $1,200 a month at Metro for 3 trailers. Account I was running required 2 trailers on standby, all preloaded. I get you set up with my dealer. That sounds so shady. Well, thank you, HMI show. Do you want to hear my reality show adventure? A small porn thing about going new myself. It'd be a good idea. Oh no, Asian. Well, are you leaving or not? Asian My Show. I'll save that for another day, so you can get to doing whatever you're gonna do. Trailer makes the money. Costs 14 cents per mile. That is true. Work fast, sleep faster. A guy from West Virginia bought that one with stainless front and back, says Sean Price. I used to buy a used USX trailer, guaranteed to buckle in 6 months or less. All right, I'll talk about my reality show. So, my old YouTube channel, after about a year or so, I got an email, and this, the email said, "Hey, are you interested in a possible reality show about trucking?" And so I thought it was a joke. I thought it was spam, but I replied, "Sure, why not?" And I put my phone number out there. Bye, Pale Rider. And About 3 months went by. Suddenly I get a phone call, and it's a number from England. And I answered it, and she's like, hello, this is so-and-so from such and such productions. I forget the name of the production company. And we would like to arrange a time where we can, well, no, they wanted a demo video. So basically what she did is she compiled a bunch of my YouTube videos, put it together. I had to create an intro, and I actually broke my laptop over that because I was in Ardmore, Oklahoma at the Flying J, and I couldn't get a good signal. I got mad and I threw the laptop back of the sleeper, right? Should be safe, but no, it hit one of the buckles and it shattered the screen. But I managed to get the video uploaded. So she created basically my demo video for me. And again, I didn't hear anything for another 3 months. Okay. Then one day I get a phone call from England, and I have a trainee with me. This is when I was still at Transland. And hey, we're flying a guy out to come, you know, basically try you out, like audition. He's going to bring camera equipment. He's going to want you getting out of the truck, driving, footage, delivering load, the whole 9 yards. So I called my company and said, hey, I've got a delivery in St. Louis. Can you give me like a whole day? And I explained to them what was going on. And, you know, and they said, cool. So they actually flew somebody out. He took a cab to the Flying J from the airport. Flying J there in, was it Pontoon Beach? And he went with me and the trainee. The trainee had to sit in the back, and he had this big camera. I was in a T660, which is a narrow cab, and he had a big camera. I could barely see out my mirror. And he's like interviewing me as I'm going down the road, you know. And you know, he goes with me to deliver a load. And then what was kind of cheesy about it is like he actually got in the trailer as I closed the doors, and I had to like open the doors like 3 different times so you get 3 different angles, you know, basically all the ice road trucker stuff, right? So basically we drove around the St. Louis Loop, delivered a load of coffee, and he kept asking me questions. How do you find your loads? You know, he thought it was an owner-operator. I said no, and I thought, well, there goes my shot for the show because I'm not an owner-operator. And at that time I wasn't. So he puts a GoPro mounted on my mirrors and has me drive around the parking lot. He got close-ups of me starting the truck up and basically made this, you know, real. And I've never seen it to this day. I've got pictures on my Facebook of the day when we were videotaping everything. He asked about the band. He actually put the band's music in the video, in part of the video, and they thought that they would use that as a spin because they need interesting truck drivers, not just regular truck drivers, right? So at that time, three different people I knew were also getting tried out from the jobs that they were doing, and it looks like they were wanting someone from each faction of trucking. They tried out a car hauler, a grain hauler. I was the drive-in guy. There was a reefer person, and there was a couple of flatbed people. Now, if you guys remember, there's a nice female truck driver named Brenda. I forget her YouTube name. But Brenda, she was this, you know, she drove for Sharkies at the end of her YouTube reign. She was trying out for the show, and she actually got on. So, the Trucker 47, Brenda. Yes, thank you, Steve Berger. I knew you would know. So, we didn't hear anything, and then finally, England called me again. I said, hey, what's the status of that? She's like, well, we're looking for 2 networks to buy the whole thing, and you're one of the finalists. So, I thought, oh, okay, cool. You know, if something comes of it, fine. If not, no big deal. You know, I wasn't like, oh man, I wasn't chomping at the bit about it. And Never heard back, never got a, yeah, see ya, never got any kind of notification. Until one day I'm watching the Weather Channel and they had a trucking reality show. And Brenda was on it, and there was there was a heavy haul and then a regular flatbedder. And the interesting part is they made Brenda look like an owner-op, and she wasn't. And I watched the end of the show, and it was the same production company. So basically, that was the show I tried out for and did not get the cut. Which is fine, because I ended up talking to Eskimo Sean, who's friends with one of the Ice Road truckers, and he told me a lot of the shady stuff that these reality shows do to truck drivers. In fact, there are a couple of people on the Ice Road Truckers show that can't even get jobs now because they were portrayed as bad people and they can't even work. So it was kind of a blessing in disguise, but it made for an interesting day, because after we took all the driving footage, we went back to Pontoon Beach, sat at the Denny's, and the three of us chatted, and he just asked general questions, and every time I would say something witty, he would like, oh, say that again. You know, he didn't have his camera ready, and it's like, you know, it felt more scripted than anything else. So yeah, that was my venture into the reality TV trucking world. So, and like I said, I ended up watching that channel, that show on the Weather Channel. It was cheesy, you know. I felt bad for Brenda having to put up with that, because she's a nice gal. So, you know, it's like one of the guys that made him look like an idiot, and that's probably what they would have done with me. And, you know, I would have helped, you know, because I am an idiot, but they would have been like, oh yeah, this Norlor guy, he's an idiot. He's not gonna make it, you know, that kind of thing. So that was my venture into the the reality TV trucking world. So I got to sample that for a day, and it was all right. I didn't get paid for it at all either. I got a meal bought for me by the camera producer guy. That was it. Her channel is Brenda Banks. Is she still doing YouTube videos? CPAP's got a new laptop. Interesting trucker, not the regular trucker, LOL. Right, Benjamin Duke. You can't have regular truckers in reality shows. What are you talking about? This is reality TV. Right, well, this was like 5 years ago. So, before YouTube was such a hit with all us truck drivers. But yeah, this is reality show. Except my stuff's not scripted, you know. Some of these other YouTube channels, you have to wonder if it is scripted, because it kind of gets kind of stupid. You get unloaded, Steve? I am unloaded. I'm empty right now. Look at you now. I bet they're eating crow. I don't know about that. Because that show was only on for one season. It was, dude, it was a bad show. It was, I'm glad, after watching it, I was like, I'm glad I wasn't on that. So, now it would have helped my YouTube channel, that's for sure. I was on television when I was a kid. It was something between PBS and UNC. Burger needs a show featuring me and the Sandman. Burger, now that you've got some editing equipment, you can do like Pale Rider used to do with the Angry Trucker. You can have conversations with yourself, or with Sandman. Sorry, don't want to lift up the curtain there, but yeah, you could totally do that. You do that now. Me, the toilet paper guy. Now, this dude next to me, it's like 50 degrees, and this dude next to me's got High Idol on. You got Swift. I'm in the land of Swift. I'm across the street, or the interstate, from the Dollar Tree distribution center, which is all Swift and Werner and a couple of Schneiders. Very scary place. LOL. Wow, Weird Racing. Here, I'll buy you lunch for this production. Thank you, Weird Racing. That parody video you did where Pale Rider's talking about donuts and Diet Coke, hilarious. Oh yeah, the live call-in thing. Pale Rider made that video, man. Pale Rider, you know, I just kind of orchestrated it, and he made it do what it does. I could be in a show between the Gong Show and a Jerry Springer. Kevin and Ollie, what's up? Swift multiplying like rabbits. Yeah, the last time I was at that distribution center, I grabbed my camera and I was going to pretend I was lost in a sea of Swift trailers and have scary music and stuff, but the yard guy kept looking at me, and I was like, I better not, because you know, here I am running around a bunch of trailers that I'm obviously not a Swift driver, and plus the empty I had to get out of there. So, but who is that? Garth Brooks is in the house. How's it going? Milesburg, and it's snowing. Need more coffee. I got my coffee there, Kevin and Ollie. Don't give Ollie any coffee though. He probably doesn't need any. Nothing wrong with Swift. You're absolutely right. This is a nice Swift truck. Check it out. Got a nice black Peterbilt 579. He's got it nice and clean, polished. It's one of their lease operators. Unplug the phone. It's getting hot. And he's all right. They're just like any other company. Dennis Smith has strawberry lemonade. Jeffrey Lack, I saw you sneaking in here. My new production is going to feature Swift, JB, Sierra England, Express, and many more. I can't say what it's going to be called. I don't want to deal with someone else stealing my thunder. Well, Big Eddie, we'll look forward to that. We will look forward to that. Where are you at today, Big Eddie? Are you at home? Kind of forgot. I'm hoping Philadelphia wins the Bowl tonight. You know how many times I've washed this truck since I've got it, says Steve Berger? I don't even want to know. I have a black Peterbilt 579, but that one is not mine, says Daniel Adami. Still at the house trying to buy a new truck. Oh, okay, Big Eddie. Is that Volvo you have? Is that a Travelocal lease? I got new laptops, so now I just need a decent camcorder for vlogs. Little small pour. I'll show you what I've got. I just use a GoPro for the vlogs, but Samsung makes these cameras. They're like handheld, but it's not really that great. I mean, it's all right. I bought off a friend of mine for 20 bucks. I don't like the frame it does. Now, there is something wrong with some Swift drivers like any other carrier owner operator. Hit list, I agree. I talked to some of their guys that have the sweet dedicated runs. Not all Swift drivers are mentally challenged. Negative 372. No, it's mine. Oh, okay. You wanting to trade it in? That truck's been giving you issues, hasn't it? 18,000 repairs since August and more needed. It's just that time. I can wholeheartedly agree with you on that. That's about what my Peterbilt was at when I got rid of it. It was $20,000 in 1 year just in repairs and maintenance. not including the truck payment. So when I added the truck payment in, I was paying as much as, you know, basically like $1,200 a week for that truck, and I was not comfortable. The APU didn't work, so it was time. It was time. I have a GoPro Hero Session, but when I uploaded to my laptop, the quality took a massive hit. I'm hoping it was just a laptop. I'm going to try uploading a GoPro on the new laptop. Cool. Here, I'll show you what I've got, small pour. I'll show you what I've got here. Big guy. I got one of these. It's full HD. And it does all right. It's got a little thing for a tripod. You open that up. That's how you upload it. It's also, you can also use a cord. I believe this thing's probably dead. No, it's good. See, there it is. That's what it looks like. Is that blowing your guys' mind? Huh? Huh? That's what it looks like. So, yeah, Pale Rider, I'm still live. What of it? Here, I'll videotape myself. That's what it looks like with the recording. La 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 la. Not much delay. No. It does all right. Let's see. What video have I used this? I used this for my vlogs on the well, no, I didn't. I ended up not uploading those for GATS. I took this camera with me to GATS. So they didn't have the GoPro yet. What video? My video Scenes from the Past. It's a music video. I use this camera, so you can check that out. Small pour. Think about tampering with my emissions. Any thoughts? Just Trucking. I don't have any knowledge of that whatsoever. Just Trucking. If you have a warranty, don't do it. James Bell, what's up? I record it in 1080. Then the editing software uploads it to 1080, but as you guys saw, this quality of those driving videos suck. Yeah, but yeah, go check out my video, Small Pour, Scenes from the Past, and also the other video is the dinosaur video, which that's not a really great representation because it was shaky and I didn't really have that great of a mount for it for the rainstorm, but then the dinosaur was taken with this too. So if you got a Max Force, totally do it. Just Trucking. Shooter McGavin, he told me that he did that with his truck. And he said he gained fuel mileage and horsepower. Pale Rider can help you with the GoPro stuff. And I've got the cheap GoPro. My stuff comes out okay. When are you rolling with Jeffrey Light Company? Soon, as soon as I get a trailer. As soon as I get a trailer. You own a Volvo? Ugh. I don't know about that. I'd be leery. But that's just me. Shooter just traded his Maxi for a shaker. Yeah, I saw that. I saw Cannell's video, his 3-part series interviewing McGavin about how he got his own authority, which I thought was a good story. He's a cool guy. I met him at GATS. We hung out for a minute. You know, he was a Snyder IC, then bought his own truck, then he went to Travel Loco, and then he got his own authority. Seems like a lot of the Loco guys get their own authority. Big Eddie, do you have plans to get your own authority? $7,000 for replacement SCR filter. Ouch. Did you see that seat in Shooter's truck? No. I don't remember anything about a seat. Is it like one of them Bose or whatever, however you pronounce it? Is it one of those $10,000 seats? Yeah, hit list. Jeffrey does have all the connects with the full maintenance lease trailers. However, that dealer in Michigan will only deal with people that live in Michigan. So, and if I get a trailer under Jeff, then I lose a little bit of percentage. It was like a recliner. Man, I saw a car commercial for, I guess the new Mercedes has these new seats that they're like individual moving parts to make you as comfortable as possible. It's like you're driving a car, man. You don't need to be so relaxed. You're at your home in the recliner. You know, that's bad. Unless the car's a self-driving car, you know, which might possibly be well. If you mess with emissions here in Canada, you're out of service. That would be my biggest fear, is if you mess with the emissions of a truck and some of the other states adopt the California stuff, man, it could lead to problems later. That's some BS. They still gonna get paid close or far. You're absolutely right, Hitless. You're absolutely right. They claim tampering. Guys, I hate the emissions on these trucks. If I could, I would do the whole CAT old school glider kit thing, but I don't have that kind of money. And a lot of that stuff's going to be harder and harder to find. You know, if I go to a Kenworth dealership, it's easy to find parts for this truck. You know, if you own a Freightliner and you go to a Freightliner, you know, those parts are everywhere. But if you take out emissions, you know, with an older, you know, or if you get an older engine, it might be harder to find parts. So these things are going to break down anyways. So my philosophy is just have a lot of money and just be prepared. I will do a truck tour when I get it. You will have to wait and find out. Big Yeti, isn't buying a truck a pain in the butt? Well, just trucking, you ought to do a whole thing on that, because that's a question I get asked all the time. That'd be a good video topic. Just gonna fool the ECM, yeah? Cat in Green Bay is 1 hour from the house, says Bandit. Very much so. Man, it's funny, I told Berger and I told James Best that buying a truck is gonna be one of the most difficult things you'll ever do, because it's a big, huge headache. And after they were done, they both agreed with me. Although I will say, when I bought this truck, it was a lot easier than when I bought the first truck. Because the first truck, I had no clue what I was doing. So, I mean, not that I have a clue now, but I have at least a better clue, a better sense of actually knowing a couple of things. Do you need perfect credit? Bandit, I don't know. I kind of agree with that and disagree with that. I know a person that just got approved for a trailer who had a 640 credit score. So, you know, I think your credit just depends on how much percentage you're going to pay. That, or the interest percentage. Interest. See, I told you guys I don't know what I'm doing. I'm no expert. I'm no coach. I'm no teacher. I didn't have a problem, just a crap load of questions. Is this going to be easier? This is going to be easier to transfer tax and sign my life away. That's good. With electronics, ECM always good. Okay. I I hear if you mess with the emissions, the EPA will fine you, and when if and when you get caught. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, check the settings in your software there. It says I am small fry. Snortle, any chance you can, dang it, send me your number? Need to ask you something. Or James Best has it. Do you mind if he gives me your number? Yeah, get it from James Best, dollar bill. Cosign for your LLC company with 10% down. That's what I'm saying. Need good credit to not have to put 25% down. Yeah, if you got the money put down, it doesn't matter what your credit is. You know, if you got 15 to 25%, they look at that more than the credit. You know, the way commercial financing works, guys, is that kind of like my trailer deal. What they do is they approve a certain number. Okay. Now, if it's a high number, say like for a brand new truck, they're going to want to see like 1099, you know, your tax forms, your tax statements for the last couple of years. They're going to want to see that. They're going to see how well your business is doing. Some want business plans, which that's not hard to do. But the lower the amount, the less info they want. Now, what they'll do is, like for my trailer that I was looking at in Michigan, the price was $17,800, and they approved me for $14,500. So what happens is I got to make up the difference, and that's usually how truck loans work too. Is that, like for example, when I bought this truck, I was originally looking at a brand new T680, and I was approved for it. However, they wanted a total of $20,000 down. That included my trade-in with the Peterbilt plus an additional 10. So I was approved for it, but I needed to make up the difference. So when I told them I wanted this truck instead, then the amount that I got for the Peterbilt was enough for a down payment, which still was end up being like 10%. So when you get a truck loan or a trailer loan, getting approved is not the problem, but how much money that they'll give you and how much money you need to come up with, that's the gap that you want to try to close. And if you're buying your first truck, prepare to pay out the yin yang on the interest side. Now, always try your local bank. I had this conversation with a friend of mine last night. Always try your personal, your bank, because if you have a history with that bank, but the thing is, a lot of local banks won't do commercial loans, but they'll do personal loans. You can maybe get a $30,000 loan and just use it to whatever you need for. That can happen. But then, you're looking at credit. Then you need to have good credit. And the other thing is if you go to your regular bank and say, hey, I need to buy a commercial truck, well, then they're definitely going to want 25 to 30% down. They're no different than anybody else. So it's a different ball game than buying a new car, a regular car, or something like that, because they don't want to just hand these things out to anybody, even though it seems like they do. They don't want to do that. So buying a truck is not the easiest thing, and it's just like the trailer deal. It's a lot easier for me to get approved for a new trailer with no money down than to buy a used trailer and have to have like 25% down. So it's just the system, and I'm just now learning the aspects, the ins and outs of how you deal with all that stuff. Shadow Wolf, you're here. Did you go live earlier? I don't think I ever saw you go live. I'm toying with the idea of ordering custom color and specs. That would be I think I have a friend of mine that actually just did that. And see that, let's talk about that for a second, Big Eddie. A lot of people go, Steve, what kind of truck should I buy? And my answer to that is not the brand of the truck. You shouldn't be focused on the brand of the truck. You should be focused on how that truck is spec'd. Because in the end, they're all the same as far as quality, but how they're spec'd to your needs. If you're doing a bunch of heavy haul loads through mountainous regions, you're going to want some horsepower. You're going to want the right gear ratio. You're going to want that truck to be a powerhouse. If you're going to do nothing but drive in flat places, then you want fuel efficiency. Or, you know, if you do a little bit of both, you're going to want a little bit of everything. So custom ordering, I think, is a good way to go. And that way you get the truck spec'd exactly how you want it, get all the bells and whistles that you want, and you're probably going to pay a better price than, say, getting something off the lot. And most trucking dealerships, they want you to do that. They you know, like the full maintenance lease, like what Jeff has, they would rather you custom order your truck, because they know that if they go back, have to go and sell it later, they want owner-op spec trucks. Very rarely do you go to a dealership and you want to get a mega fleet spec truck. That's one of the issues I have with Snyder Finance trucks, is that they're bare bones fleet trucks with no owner-op specs whatsoever, but you're paying a pure premium price for those trucks. So not spending 10 hours in the sleeper and saying you have on your ELD is also against the law. What are we talking about there? Frank, don't put your phone number on there, dude. The last guy that did that, he ended up having to change his phone number. Someone erased that message, Frank. Oh man, Frank, hope he didn't screw up. Financing is actually somewhat easy to get for those wanting to do it. Should buy used at 70,000 or less. But on a 2008 or newer, less than 700,000 miles. I had a line on a 2007 for 19,900. Now I can't because it's 702,000 miles. Slave to the grind. Make that truck payment. Agent Orange. Yeah. YouTube has you blocked from live feeds? That's weird, Shadow Wolf. It's about getting the best fuel mileage and getting what you want because you're paying for it. Right, Big Eddie, I agree. That's why you should get the specs that you want. Watch custom trucks. If it's too custom, it's hard to sell. That is true. My ELD is doing 10 in the sleeper berth, not me. That's my real number. Oh, well, it's from the 80s song. I can definitely agree. I wish I had a lot more gauges and gear. Ratio sucks, says Big Billy. You know, and Billy, you're probably, you know, dealing with flatbed and some of the situations that you're in. I don't think your truck is ideal for that. We run team and have talked about buying a truck and decide it's better for us to lease. Right, you know, and the way Jeff's doing it, you know, if you can afford it and the company will do it, what Jeff's got is a good deal. The full maintenance lease. A lot of this too is what do the mega carriers do? They lease these trucks and after 4 years they get rid of them. If they own the trucks, after 4 years, they get rid of them. So whether you lease or buy, unless you buy a custom truck, like say like Shadow Wolf's truck, you know, you want to, if you're going to buy a truck, you're going to do one of two things. You're going to trade it in after 4 years, or you're going to spec it out to where you never want to trade it in, where it's worth doing that $20,000 overhaul in the engine if needed. That's my opinion. But if you look at the big mega carriers who are, making billions of dollars a year with a B, they trade these trucks in every 3 or 4 years. And there's a reason for that, because these trucks are disposable. I have no intention of like keeping this truck to where it's rotting in the field, because that's how much I love this truck. I love my truck, don't get me wrong, but at the same time I know that when it comes 800,000 miles, just like the Peterbilt, it's going to be time to move on. So a used truck is never paid off. Even if you buy a truck outright, it's never really paid off because it costs you money. Rotate every 3 years. Even when you're buying, resale is better, and you can only write off depreciation for 3 years. Big Eddie, there you go. Full maintenance lease has to fit the situation. You are correct. Hit list. With the headache rack I have now, my wheelbase is too short. Yeah, I would think, Big Billy. That's when you need to overhaul. So like these guys that have the big 108-inch, ARI sleepers and stuff, that's a truck that you buy, and then that's the one you're going to retire in. And it's just cheaper to do the engine overhaul than just buying a new one of those. In a situation like that, but even then, I've seen those guys trade those in. But these trucks are geared and engineered to run 500,000 miles. Then they nickel and dime you, and then if you can get 1 million miles out of it, you're doing extremely good. But you have to almost baby the truck. But then there's no write-offs. Just like Yeti said, you can only write off the depreciation for 3 years. So I know people that have a 5-year note on a truck, and they think that's the be-all end-all is going to be able to pay off that truck, and I don't think it is. I think Jeff's got the right idea that if you're going to trade a truck in every 3 years, you're always going to have that payment, in my opinion. Now, if you have something custom like what Thor has or something like that, that's a different story. That's a different scenario. That's a different ball game. But when it comes to standard fleet trucks, even the owner-op spec ones, 500,000 to 800,000, you're going to want to trade it in. The trick is to put yourself in a situation that you can afford that new truck when it comes along. Kenworth told me that if I do 2 years of payments on this truck without any late payments, I could literally trade this in and have a brand new truck, no money down. That was what I was told by a sales guy who's been there for 25 years. So will I do that? I don't know. It just depends on how hard I'm working a year from now and what my needs are. But definitely at the end of 3 years, we'll definitely see what's going on. Always repairs, Yeti, you're right. If you have your special truck right for you, it's the one you keep for $1 million plus, then junk it and move on. Full maintenance lease is a peace of mind. Yes, hit list, I agree with that completely. If you're making so much that you need to write off, then you need to come to the pumpkin patch. Just trucking, I hear you. Bandit wants a long nose. And look at this truck that Shadow Wolf has. You said he had 800,000 miles on it. But, I don't know, it's... There's 1,000 different ways to do it, guys. And there's not one right answer for anybody. A year from now, I might be, ready to get rid of this truck. And a year from now, I might be like, I'm going to keep it for another year and see what happens. But as far as right now is what works. And, and I'm happy with it. I'm comfortable with it. Everything's working, knock on wood. So, wonder what trucks will cost in 2 to 3 years. Work fast, sleep faster. That's a good question, man, because the price... we were talking about old trucking movies and videos and stuff, and they're talking about how the rates back then were comparable to today. Trucking rates are about the same. However, fuel is up, cost of running the truck is up, parts are outrageous. I mean, I just spent $4,000, and you know, probably 20 years ago, the same parts would have probably cost about $1,000 with repairs. I mean, you're talking some places are $180 an hour for labor. That's a lot of money. So the smart thing in my book is you get a truck with a warranty, and when the warranty's up, you get rid of it. That's how capitalism works now. That's how it works with new cars. That's how it works with anything with moving parts, lawnmowers, cars, mopeds, anything. Once that warranty's up, it is designed to fail, so you have to get something new. So you might as well. And that's the problem with buying a used truck, is that it's hard to get a warranty on stuff. Just trucking, all these truck engines will go a million miles with proper maintenance. It's all the EGR and DEF crap, the cost of all the money. I agree with you, Just Trucking, and that's why the new Cummins really intrigues me, because they've simplified the after treatment system. So the hit list, $65 an hour in Laredo. Yeah, and that's the thing. For you truck owners, have a shop that you trust and develop a relationship with them. Buy them donuts every now and then. You know, buy 2 dozen donuts, take it into there and say, hey, I just showing you appreciation. Thank you for all you do. And then leave your business card, and then, you know, that way they know where the donuts are from. And you'll develop a relationship with these shops. I have a shop in Springfield that I've got a good relationship with. The only reason why I stopped using them for some of the stuff is because I got a PACCAR now, so I have to go to Kenworth for a lot of this stuff. And that's why I went there with the clutch. But then it's costing me money. But now I'm developing a relationship with Kenworth there in Springfield, and so, you know, they gave me an honest rundown of what I should do with the clutch and everything else. You know, it's not like if you're stranded out in the middle of nowhere and you're at the whim of that shop because you can't go anywhere. It's, you know, you don't want to be in that kind of scenario. So to get everything done with the shop that you trust and you develop a relationship, that's how you get over some of the costs. Getting your own authority is easy. It's whether or not you're making the right choices to stay in business. Not everyone has the mindset to do so. Big Eddie, you are correct. $145 an hour in Peterbilt, Canada. So would you have to pay the truck off in 3 years? Matthew B, I'm not sure what you're asking. Will my truck be paid off in 3 years? 3 years from now, yeah, I got a 4-year note on this truck. I took a basic truck, says Shadow Wolf, the ugly duck, new off the lot, dumped lots of green into it over the 2 years, changing this and that, and made it into what I wanted and needed for the freight I haul. Snorler, in time, others will be able to work on the PACCAR motor. That's what I'm hoping for, Shadow Wolf. The dealership, or not dealership, the shop that I use in Springfield, or Stratford actually, they've been talking about getting the software needed for PACCAR, but then you have to kind of have the mechanics to have that knowledge too. But I knew that going in. You know, I asked the dealer, I said, what's the difference between the Cummins and the PACCAR? I said, well, the PACCAR you have to take to the dealership. Cummins has shops everywhere. So, sorry, Snorlord, just watch me later. Keep doing your thing, LOL. One hand washes the other hand. Now in days, truckers have good info on dealers and keep it to them soon instead of helping out. CPAP was stepping on me. That's why he said that. I don't do repairs or maintenance at the damn dealer. I have a guy, $50 an hour, independent mechanic. If I had the right truck, I would go that route, Agent Orange. But unfortunately, I don't. So, you know, that's the thing. Finding what works for you and avoiding the pitfalls that cause a lot of people to fail. That's the way it is with any business. You know, if you own a restaurant, own a truck, own a welding business, you want to look at all the different ways to do it, and what it's the mindset and how you set everything up that causes people to give up or fail their businesses. Like take a carrier like Schneider or Traveloco. You got people that are doing really well here, or at Traveloco, and you got people that didn't do so good, so they're not there anymore. And there's, because their mindset was different from what was actually going on, and there's nothing wrong with that. However, it's all a process. Life is just nothing but learning. And and sometimes you get thrown, I told you guys last night that, hey, 2 clicks and my accountant had all my receipts. Well, guess what? I got an email today saying, oh, that's not going to work. We can't use a zip file. So now I'm back to the drawing board on that. So now I'm late on getting my numbers to them. So I'm irritated with that. But what can I do? It's a learning experience. And my reliance on this accountant is kind of affecting me, so I got to learn from getting away from that. If it's no unburned hydrocarbons if your truck ain't running. Big Getty, I'm very vocal on giving anyone the information they need to succeed, especially when buy equipment. That's cool. In order to trade a truck back in before the warranty is gone, how long would their note have to be? It depends. I mean, I'm not an expert at this, but you want to look at, you can pay it on a truck for 3 years and still be upside down in it. It just depends on how much equity you got in that truck. If you have a 5-year note, but after 3 years you're not upside down in it, then that's when you could trade it in and probably get something else. So usually a 3-year note will get you to where you want to be. That's what worked on my first truck. So it just depends. Now, if you pay on a truck for 3 years and you still owe like 80 grand on the truck, that's a problem, because a 3 or 4 year old truck is only going to be worth about 60 to the dealership. So depending on the truck, but most general fleet trucks, so maybe every 3 or 4 years. Most warranties are up on a 5-year warranty. So you don't want anything past 5 years. The engine and after treatment on this truck was a 4-year, 500,000 mile warranty. I believe it was 4-year, maybe it was 3-year. But it's just, there's 100 different ways, and I'm horrible at advice with stuff like that, because I'm barely figuring this stuff out myself. And but at the same time, you got a lot of people that think they're experts out here, and they'll tell you some stuff that makes you just go, you can't come in this without no capital. You need to always save and ask yourself, do I need it or want it? Most trucks come with a 500,000 warranty. It's best to trade before then, but it also depends on how you run your business. Right. It's best to have enough capital to support your business for a minimum of 30 days. Big Yeti. There you go. I had this conversation with a friend last night. I'm not a truck driver. I'm a business person. That's how you have to look at it. Driving the truck is secondary. You're purchasing a rolling, depreciating asset. If you buy a building for your restaurant, that building does not depreciate. The equipment in the restaurant does not depreciate. We have a business that has rolling, depreciating asset. The truck is just a tool. Yes, we live in them. Yes, we're in them 24/7. but at the same time, you can't view it like your house. And it is just a tool. It is just a piece of equipment. If you have a show quality truck, then, you know, you use it for shows. That's part of your business. You know, and you can make money at shows. You know, you can create awareness to your business with that show truck. You know, I know guys that have a show truck and then their working fleet truck, and, you know, they might own their own authority with a working fleet truck, but then when they go to truck shows with the show truck, guess whose name's on the side of the truck, right? So it's still a part of the business. So, and only in certain situations is that show truck not a rolling depreciating asset, but it's still a rolling asset. People look at their truck as a business, but it's just equipment. It's how you move your money with the business for success. Right. Hit list, you're very right, says Benjamin Duke. You have to have the saving and then working capital. We start out thinking driver wages will handle everything, not the actual 10,000 it takes. There's a reason why knowledge of mechanics is part of being a truck owner. Stop relying on warranties to buy a truck should be a 12-year asset. Even with PACCAR, many things can be fixed at home, says Circus Boy. Macho Man says hit them likes. Big Billy. Then we don't know and think the low rates are going to work until they go under. It's all of knowing your numbers. If you're running freight for $1.10 a mile, but your expenses are $1.30, you're going to go under. And if you don't track your numbers, you're not going to know that. That's number one. Number two, you have to have a certain amount of patience to enter the owner-operator world. You can't just like drive a truck for a year and then like say, I'm going to be an owner-operator and expect things to click. That's not how the world works. You know, you know, think of all the big businesses like McDonald's, Coke, or Pepsi. It took years and years of figuring it out before they became the powerhouses they are. And you have to have a certain amount of patience. You know, if you want to make $250,000 a year out of your first truck with only 2 years experience, it ain't going to happen. You might have the mindset to make it happen, but there's still a trial by fire time frame that you have to deal with. And there's a lot of owner operators here, especially here at Schneider, that I feel that are being not patient enough to let things fall where they may. Because you have to learn the business, you have to learn the system, you have to learn the customers, you have to learn the roads, you have to learn the rates. If you don't know anything about the spot market and you're running for $1 a mile, guess what? That broker is going to love you. You're going to go under because you're not realizing that you're not making a profit off something. So it takes a certain amount of courage, it takes a certain amount of luck, it takes a certain amount of patience. And there's 1,000 of us drivers putting out advice here on YouTube, and that's a big help. It could be a tool, but in the end, each individual truck, what is there, 3 million truck drivers in America? Each individual person, each individual truck works differently. Even at Schneider, you're an owner operator for a mega carrier. My scenario is a lot different than what Berger goes through. Berger's scenario is a lot different than what CPAP had to go through. You know, Jeff's situation was different than what anybody else's scenario goes through. So there's no do it all. There's not one book. You know, if you go to the library, there's no book that tells you how to be an owner operator because you can't write one. Macho Man, can owner operators at Schneider make $200,000 a year? No. You can get up to about 165, 180. If you work spot market, says Big Eddie, it's about as owner operator as you have to make it count. Don't pull cheap freight. Don't truck for the practice, make money always. I ran up north $4.50 a mile, and the same broker called me back, gave me $3.20 going down south. It's all communication, right? And it's about how well do you communicate with people? How well do you, like, you know, I know guys at Landstar, or new guys at Landstar, that were always rude to the agents, and then they wonder why they had trouble making it work over there. I did okay. There was one agent that he and I had to shout at each other over some miscommunication, and then I realized I was wrong, and I ended up apologizing to this guy. But did he use me anymore? No. You can't fly off the end. You're a business person. You can't just like raise a stink about every little thing, because life's not perfect. So, you know, a lot of good people skills helps. You know, it helps to have people skills. It helps to be able to be polite when you need it. It helps not to, you know, when I go in truck trailer shop and I'm not showing up in my, you know, death metal t-shirt and haven't showered for 2 days, I'm not doing that. You got to make, you know, I know owner operators out here that wear suit and tie and they're flatbedders. So, you know, and that guy is never out of work, you know, because he's created a business. You know, that's the thing. You got to differentiate yourself between being a truck driver making good money with a lot of bills, or you're running a business. And if you don't know your numbers, if you don't know your, you know, what you need and what you want to get out of it, what your goals are. Thor did a good video about a 5-year plan. Have a plan, you know, have an exit strategy. What do you want? Look at what Jeffrey likes doing. You know, he worked at Landstar, and then he worked at Schneider, and then he got his own authority, and now he's building his company. There's an exit plan. Eventually he wants to get out of the truck, but still make money involved in the trucking industry. Repeat business from brokers show how good a business you are, especially when they call you before they post. Right, and Jeffrey's up to that point. Yep, hit list. You have to factor tolls, traffic, low bridges. You have to, you can't just sit there like, oh man, I'm making $8,000 going to Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania. That's what you're grossing, but if it's 45,000 pounds, you're going to have less fuel mileage. You're going to have $200 in tolls. You're going to have, you know, what are the rates are coming out, you know. Circus Boy says, professionals wear professional attire. I wear a sport coat and a collared shirt at all times. There you go, Circus Boy. It's funny how many drivers look like homeless bums. Yep. Have you ever noticed that most of the drivers that you see struggling out here, they're the ones with unwashed trucks that have 53 things in their dash, and you open the truck door open and it smells in there because they can't even take care of themselves. How can they take care of a business? You know, and the mega carriers, they make it easy to just jump in. If you got a CDL, if you just went through CDL school and get hired on here to Schneider, you only have to work here a year and you could become an owner operator. That's crazy. That's crazy to me. And I'm not saying it can't be done, but you're definitely going to have more hardships than, say, someone who's been doing it 10, 20 years. Always check the market where you're going before committing to load. It makes you better at what you do. Right, you know, and having knowledge. You know, when the trailer place came back to me with their offer, I was like, well, okay, we're done, because I have 100 other places I can go, because I had that knowledge, I have that background, I have that, I've already done the research. So, Sierra England throws people into a lease, I've heard, in less than 8 weeks. Circus Boy, you are correct. Trans Am will do the same thing. And the problem with that, that's like hiring the guy to, your bus boy, and then hand them the keys saying, hey, you're running a restaurant now. Good news, tax return, taxes I set aside will pay for plates, insurance, and down payment for trailer. Awesome, James Best. You know, I've talked to James Best. He's an example. I'm gonna put you out there, James. James has only been driving for less than 3 years total, truck driving. He's entered the owner-operator world, and within how long have you been an owner-op, James? Like what, 6 months? He has enough money set aside where he's in a better position to go make the move he's going to do even more than I have, because he set aside all this money. But see, his needs are different at home. But while he has a lot to learn on rates and OTR stuff and that kind of thing, he definitely has a business sense. And so he's on the right track. It's all up here, guys. It's all mentality. You can't... You could be the best truck driver out here. You could have backing skills and every knowledge of every truck stop, of every nook and cranny on the interstate. You can know all that. But if you don't have the mindset as a business, you can't be a successful owner-operator. And if you can't do that, then hire someone or have your spouse do the work that you can't do to give them the business sense. I know husband and wives that the husband does the driving and they just hand everything off to the wife. The wife tells them basically what to do and how to do it because she's got the business sense. There's a lot of that goes on. So, you know, but there's like I said, there's 1,000 ways to do it, and you got 1,000 truck drivers on YouTube telling you 1,000 different ways to do it. You know, and the mindset that you have to have, that's what's going to make you successful. You know, and we have bad days out here. You don't want to base your decisions off emotion also. Remember, it's not just about driving the truck, it's about knowing what you need to support your family and the business, Big Eddie. That's why I'm going to teach them, says Jeffrey Like. Right. And so what James Best is doing is he's surrounding with people that can help him. You know, Jeffrey Like has helped me, and I've had many hour-long conversations with James Best, and I have pretty decent hopes for him. I've got good hopes for him. He's on the right track, and he's definitely, the knowledge that he lacks, he's definitely put himself in the right position to gain that knowledge. You know, he does, you know, some guys have this attitude, well, I already know everything, so I can't be helped. You know, and that's a bad way to do it. You should always be learning something new every day out here. Always. So that's why I tell you guys, I'm not an expert. I'm just a guy trying to make it through this world. I think Rizzo likes to come here and troll me. I think he made a comment in one of my last video that I'm surprised you've made it this far. And he deleted the comment, or someone deleted the comment. And you know, and I don't really take offense to that because he's right. I'm surprised I've made it this far myself. You know, hell, I could go out in this intersection right here and have an accident that ends the truck, ends my career. You know, you never know. So you have to prepare for the worst. Hope for the best, prepare for the worst. And it's all attitude. You guys remember the video I did, you know, 6 months ago about the most important thing in trucking? It's up in here. Whether you're a company driver, an owner-operator, it's all up here. How do you handle things? How do you mentally handle things? And you got to kind of, it's not really even about positivity. It's about being real. It's about being honest with yourself. If you're having a tough time, admit it, swallow some pride, and then go to someone like Jeffrey Like or somebody like that to give you advice, to take you under their wing, and to give you the guidance that you need. That's what, you know, we need more mentors out here. You know, no one is an expert. We all have advice to give, but that advice should be taken with a grain of salt. Don't ever just listen to one person, says Big Eddie. That's right. Always surround yourself with successful people if you want to be successful. Yes, Sean, God is above it all. Hitless, you're right. I met a driver. His wife is an RN and does all his paperwork plus books his loads. Teamwork, right? And you got to learn from your mistakes. The first year when I did all my receipts, I just put it all in a box and hoped that the FedEx guy wasn't going to crash, right? That's a joke, by the way. The second year, I made photocopies just in case that scenario happened. And I spent hours at Kinko's, and that wasn't fun. So for $5, I bought an app on my phone, a tiny scanner app, and boom, everything's there digitally. It's all right there. You know? Like yesterday, I was talking to Jeff. I was like, hey, will I be able to access my Schneider settlements after I leave? And he said, no, you need to download them. And I suspected that I would, and I had to have the mindset to ask that question. But a lot of people don't think about that. If you're a new owner-operator, you're not going to think about things like that. So, you know, some guys are automatically downloading their settlements. I haven't downloaded a settlement yet because it's all on my phone, you know? I'm so glad I have you people to learn from. It's just like my life in the circus, modeling myself after those who are the most successful, but still thinking about things for myself and my own situation, says Circus Boy. Having a good bookkeeper is key as well, right? James Neal says, hang in there, you're doing great. Trucker Pro is a huge asset, right? Have backups to backups to backups. Always think of the worst case scenario. You'll be giving out some good info, sir. Hope young drivers are all ears. I think I can do a live feed. I've got 4 bars like LOL. Shadow Wolf. Take guys, like, okay, I have a friend of mine, Shadow Wolf, this might concern you too. I have a friend of mine, he's no longer a driver because he had to get off the road, but he was a guy that used to use apnea music all the time, Big Dog. You remember him? And he almost came to Schneider, but life kind of got crazy for him, and now he's at home because he's got custody of his kids or whatever. So, but anyways, he's a good guy. And his name is Jason. He was in one of Tex Crowley's Life of a Trucker series. And he said that when he first started truck driving, when he first got into the industry, he would offer to buy these old school guys coffee. And he would learn from their stories. He would learn and from their life experiences, because in the end, that's the best teacher, is life experience. We're not animals to the point we have instincts. Some people take to trucking more naturally than others, but for the most part, experience is what you learn. Most of my lessons that I've learned as an owner operator have been through experience, and that's what Jason did. He went out and talked to all these old school guys, gave them something, you know, he offered them coffee, he offered to buy their meal, and just talk with them. And you can sit there like, well, you got to take that with a grain of salt. However, when you talk to 20 drivers, you're going to kind of get the gist of what works and what doesn't, just by their attitudes, just by how they approach life themselves. And so if you approach life a certain way, there are people that have the mindset to be good drivers out here, and there are people that have the mindset to be like, what are you even doing out here? You know, and they're having to provide for their family grudgingly. You know, they don't want to do this, but they know that's what makes the most money versus, you know, $10 an hour at McDonald's. So, but Jason had the right, but see, Jason had to take that step. Jason had to sit there and go, hey, you know what? I want to learn about trucking as much as I can, so I will ask the guys like Shadow Wolf that have the experience. And, you know, and he and I were pretty good friends. He came, you know, he videotaped an apnea show and an apnea practice. He hung out at the house for a couple of days. He's a good guy. And he learned from all the others. Those with the worst attitudes seem to be those that are failing at at whatever. However, it seems the attitude causes the outcome more times than the outcome created the attitude. There you go. Circus Boy said it all along. You can learn a lot from others, but you're still going to have lessons in learning the hard way. You can prepare all you want, but something will happen. Just don't give up. Get back on the horse. Right. Bugatti the trucker, thank you very much. Some guys should own trucks, others shouldn't. I agree, work fast. Lighting another cigar. I know, man. This is one of my longest live feeds. I'm trying to compete with James S there. You may need to change the title on this video. A lot of good info on this one. No, let the irony work, James Best. Let the irony work. Let the irony work. Guys, you know, I'm not an expert, okay? And I've said that many, many times, okay? But I think that where I add value to YouTube, maybe, I could be wrong, is all on attitude, because I've had rough times, man. I've had tough times. Those of you who've been following me since Landstar videos, you knew that it wasn't easy for me. It still isn't. But you know what? I don't get depressed as much. I'm not preoccupied with make-believe stuff as much. And my mind's constantly working in the business mode, more so now than it ever has ever before in my life. And I'm loving it. And to the point that my Sirius radio is hardly ever on. You know, I'm listening to podcasts and watching videos when I'm parked and stuff. You know, it's, you know, Facebook is more of a business thing for me now. And but it's all mindset. It's all on how you approach anything in life, not just trucking, anything. You know, I've always said that if you look at trucking as a curse, it's going to be a curse. If you look at trucking as a blessing, it's going to be a blessing. That's the final word right there. If you look at being an owner-operator as being a big hassle because you got to pay fuel, you got to pay tolls, you got to pay the lumpers, you got to pay this, you got to pay that, you're working extra hard for the same amount of money, blah 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 blah. If you look at it that way, then you're never going to get to the next level. But if you look at it as like, oh man, if I do this and this, if I pay for fuel and if I pay for the truck payment and I get on a load board where I can choose my freight, man, I'm in control. You know, and that's a mindset. You know, you can have two people at the same company and two completely different mindsets. So Circus Boy, I need to go back and watch your videos. I think I finally subscribed to you. There are great minds here, and now I don't consider myself one, but I'm proud to be here with everyone. Big Eddie, you have contributions. You've said some of the best comments in this video alone. You are a value, sir, due to your life experience out here like so many others, says Shadow Wolf. Company drivers don't realize they're already paying all those expenses. Make the broker pay lumper. I know, hit list. I'm just saying. Watching good motivational YouTube videos is like going to church. Fine and dandy while we're watching, but we need to change how we think. Right. It's all about mindset. It's about, you know, guys, I used to be a BMX freestyler, okay? I used to be the guy doing the tricks on bikes. And I lived, eat, and breathed bikes, man. I knew everything there was about bikes. And what I didn't know, I was willing to learn. But I was, people called me hardcore because I was just so entrenched in it. And then when I traded that hobby in for the guitar playing, you know, the music became kind of my religion, pretty much, you know, and it created this mindset. You got to surround yourself in that mindset. And, you know, trucking, it's easy and hard at the same time because, you know, I'm sitting here in this truck, you're living, eating in the truck. You know, even if you're home weekly, you're still in this thing 5 nights a week. You know, you're still in this thing 4 nights a week. You're still, this truck becomes an extension of you. And when you start doing that in a business sense, Berger and I have had this conversation too, that your mindset starts to change. You know, my first year as an owner operator, I'm winging it. I'm like, woohoo, I'm winging it, right? The second year as an owner operator, I'm like, okay, I kind of know a couple of things, but still struggling. The third year, I'm like, wow, I think I'm going to get a different truck because this truck's a piece of crap, and I know enough that I need to change that. And you know, and now I'm going on my fourth year, and now I'm like, you know what? There's got to be an easier way to do taxes. There's got to be an easier way to keep track of my numbers. There's got to be an easier way to get to the goals that I need to do. You know, and when I switch companies, I'm going to be making so much more percentage, so much higher ratio on my gross and my net that it'll be worth the change. Because if you think about it, I'm going through a lot of hassle to get my own plate, to get my own trailer, and think about the guys that get their own authority. That's a lot of hassle. I don't care how easy Coach says it is. You know, it might be easy to get the authority, but to keep it, to run it, to use it, that's a different story. So I feel that I'm making the best move, and I'll help someone build their company, and therefore maybe things will happen in a different way for me. But it's a mindset, you know. If you sit there and you want to be in control of your business, well, don't do the things that keep things out of your control. It's all a mindset. Entrench yourself. You know, if you want to be a fish, you got to swim like a fish. You got to feel like a fish. So I used to do a little BMX, busted my balls one time. Too many. It hurts, says Shadow Wolf. As a company driver, you're already paying for your truck insurance, repairs, and upkeep. You just don't physically seeing it. Your rate as an owner-operator, you're getting paid for all work. It's just not classified as such. You know, and like other people, like other YouTubers have done videos, get paid what you're worth. And that's true. But sometimes you got to take situations out of the company's hands and put them in your own hands to make that happen. And that's kind of what I'm doing. So, but it's all up here, man. It's all, you know, there's so many tools, guys. The internet is there's so many tools. And, you know, the tools that I have as an owner-operator that my dad did not have, it's just, it's night and day. You know, like, okay, like here, I'll give you an example. CPAP says, get the broker to throw in the extra money for the deadhead. Okay, CPAP. It takes knowledge. It takes experience. It takes surrounding yourself with good mentors to know to ask for that extra money from the broker. And then to put yourself in a situation where you can ask for more money from that broker. That's what I'm talking about. That's where I try to hit you. I'm not going to tell you advice on how to get more money from the broker. I'm going to tell you how to get in the mindset to ask for more money from the broker. Does that make sense? So that's where you come from. That's what you do. When I was a trainer, I could teach you how to back. I could teach you how to go down the road. I can give you tips on shifting. But what I tried to help people with was the mindset, because when you're a new CDL holder and you're a family man, you're going to go through adjustments at home, adjustments with your spouse, adjustments with your kids, and there's a mentality to it. If you get, you know, you're going to go through a homesick period. Your marriage is going to have a trial period of like, is this going to work or not? And you have to have the right mindset to get through all those things. And that's what I tried to help my trainees have, is like, look, you're going to go through this, you're going to go through this, so I will help you deal with this. You know, so if I have friends call me, hey, me and my wife aren't getting along, we're doing this, this, and this, I'd be like, well, try this, because she's feeling this, and you're going to be feeling this, and it's a mindset. That's what creates success. It's not necessarily knowledge, it's mindset as well. You know, passion, it takes a perfect combination of passion and knowledge. If you guys watch that show Shark Tanks, how many people did you see that had all this passion, but yet they didn't have the numbers, they didn't have the knowledge? So the sharks are like, well, we're out. You're a very dedicated person, but you know, there's a lot of things you need to learn. Well, trucking's the same way. So, dang, we're going at 2 hours almost. I gotta shut the hell up. Can you teach me how to go live for over an hour without having to go pee? LOL. Hard to find balance with trucking. It is. It's a challenge, man. You gotta have a certain passion and love for this job to be successful in my book. Or take that knowledge. If you hate trucking but still need to make money trucking, figure out how to make money out of trucking that benefits you to where you don't hate it so much. Use that hate as fuel. You know, it all depends on how you use that fuel. You know, hate can be a good fuel, knowledge can be a good fuel, love can be a good fuel, but either way, you got to use those fuels to your advantage. Can we form a support group to help when someone breaks down? Someone in the area can take the load from you and deliver it. Ernie, if you find the right company, that could be in there. But see, that's a good idea. That's why I join a lot of different Facebook groups. Not the drama-filled Facebook groups, but like owner-operators and maintenance is an excellent Facebook group. The Rate Per Mile Masters, you've heard me mention them many times. That's a great Facebook group. And Facebook groups with good moderators, you know, where we're not griping about the same ELD argument or the same, you know, let's all gripe about Walmart. Let's all gripe about, you know, the Walmart DCs. Let's all gripe about grocery shippers and receivers. Let's all gripe about the same things. Find solutions. Find the groups that, like, okay, if you're going to insult each other, you're out. You know, and Rate Per Mile Masters is pretty good about that. I don't join a whole lot of Facebook groups because of all the squabbling, all the he said, she said, you insulted me, I don't move for $1 a mile, all this bull crap. You got to be able to cut through the digital noise. I've said that before. You got to be able to cut through the pathetic, trivial stuff that is just fogging our minds on the internet from the ultimate goal of what you want. A mindset is like your situation and what they teach you. I never ran back across the arena for a second pole of cotton candy until I was on the other side and ran out of product. Getting through the fog of knowing and acknowledge that the rate is negotiable. I've talked to so many folks that believe that's all offer is you're getting, says Benjamin Duke. It's just getting interesting. What's going on, Snorlord, says Loyal Trucker. Can you please make an updated video on what you write in your notebook to plug into Truggin Pro? Yeah, you know, that's a good idea, Loyal Trucker. I will do that in a separate video because it's going to change when I go to a different company. So, but I will give you the gist. But basically, I write everything down that the Truggin Pro is asking for. I leave out trivial stuff like trailer numbers, but everything is down there in fuel. But yeah, I'll do a whole separate video so this doesn't become a 3-hour long video. Then I wanted the money, so I gave free shows and ran across seat backs and along the balcony edge, whatever it took to sell 6 poles of candy instead of 2. All right, Shadow Wolf, you know what? I need to get off here. I actually need to work. It's showing that I'll be in Wilmer at 1 o'clock at this point, which, again, my load's not going to be ready till 3. My Qualcomm shut off. That's how long I've been sitting here. Remember, people are people. We are not machines, and we have to be there for one another when time comes. Right. After all expenses, do you average better than that 71 cents per mile? Yeah, I'm still, you know, that's the thing about Schneider. Are the rates lower than the spot market right now? Yes, but what Jeff said it last night, there's consistency here. And yes, I'm right at about between 71 to 76 cents a mile. And well, no, actually, no, I take it back. That's my cost. I'm about 50 cents a mile, but it'll jump up. once I hit the spot market, but I have the consistency. The consistency allowed me to to pay my repair bill. It allowed me to get my plate, and it's allowing me to get a trailer. I do have a little bit of money. I'm just not going to put that out there. So I have subbed for most of the drama YouTubers, so many other no drama YouTubers to CPAP. I don't use the customer tab, but I might once I go to Like Trucking. I list Snyder as the customer tab is what I do. But yeah, it'll be different on the Trucking Pro. The stop at the Peterbilt factory is probably a great tour. I need to do that sometime. How long do spot market trends usually last? At least 2 years. And everybody's projecting that this trend's going to last for at least 2 years. So there's going to be, Trucker Exec, he did a good video about the market and how it's going to come back to a certain level before April, but then when the mandate is actually being enforced, it's going to, this is the adjustment period. So now's the time to make hay, because the brokers are still trying to figure out the ELD. 90% of drivers are out there trying to figure out the ELD. And then the shippers will have to follow suit. They'll have to start open window appointments. They'll have to give more time on the freight. They'll have to be a little bit more lenient on delivery times. And there'll be an adjustment period. If your shipper is a lot harder to deal with, guess what? It's going to be harder for you to move freight unless you pay the cash. So the market is still in settling mode. And I think that's going to take another year or two to deal with. Brokers are like hell to try to get the rates down, but it's not working, because then stuff's not getting moved. Why? Because people are knowledgeable now. Now people have tasted that $3 mile stuff, and they're not going back. They're not going to go back to the way rates were a couple of years ago. They're not going to do that. So $3 is now the new norm, whereas $2 was the norm. And that's going to be here a while. There's no way that once we've tasted that money that we're going to go back. So, and it takes groups like Rate Per Mile Masters, it takes YouTube videos to realize, hey, you know what? We pay out the yin yang for this. Hey, we're back. You guys take it easy. Thank you for watching. And it's time for me to go to work, guys. I gotta pee. CPAP's right. I gotta pee. Been drinking this coffee. And but thanks for watching, guys. I got all fired up towards the end there. And I can read the comments. I'm back, but I'm getting ready to take off. So you guys take it easy. And thanks for watching. And I probably won't do a live feed for a while. This has been tiring. So see ya.